How are we doing, guys? Everton 3, Leeds United 0. Post-match reaction to the game. Just come back from Goodison Park, and to be honest, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm furious tonight. Absolutely fuming. Where do you start, really, with that today? Made a couple of notes on the game, and look, in this league, if you're not 100% at it, this can always happen. No matter who you're playing, this can always happen. You know, we're playing the highest quality league in the world by a distance, the Premier League, and unfortunately, that's what can happen. You know, in terms of the Championship, you know, you can afford sometimes to drop off, you know, for half an hour or so in a game, and the opposition don't take advantage of it. But in the Premier League, the quality is that high. This is what happens. And that's the story of the game, really. We just weren't at it today. And to win any game at this level, you've got to be at it. And it's not going to get any easier. You know, I do think we can bounce back. I'm confident we'll bounce back. But we've got some tough games coming up. I'm not going to deny that. You know, Man United at home, Liverpool away, Tottenham at home, and Leicester away, I think off the top of my head, is the next 4 games. And look, it's going to be difficult. But you know what, I've got a week now to assess what's gone wrong today, and pretty much everything that could have gone wrong today has gone wrong, let's be totally honest. It felt like, I've not seen the stats, but it felt like Everton outran us today. And it's very, very rare you can say that about a Leeds United team. Certainly under Marcelo Bielsa. I think the only time I can think of where that statistically has happened was actually when we played Chelsea away last season. I might be wrong in saying that, but that is totally unlike us. And it was just so frustrating in that kind of sense. Everton, in terms of the pressing, was absolutely outstanding, and it caused us real problems, and we just could not play through them. And look, got to give credit to Everton. Everton were superb today. They handled the game in terms of game management, at 1-0 up, 2-0 up, very, very well. Defensively, they defended very well, but unfortunately, you know, I think there's 2 parts in the game today. We were poor. Everton played really well. And that's what's kind of contributed to it being such a heavy, emphatic scoreline today. I keep saying it's just I'm stunned by that today, because I did feel that against Aston Villa, the level of our performance was that good that we'd have a real good chance of putting in a real top performance today as well. But unfortunately, that's the nature of the Premier League. Again, as much as I feel negative tonight, the Premier League is that. You can go from feeling absolutely fantastic to feeling absolutely terrible in a couple of days in this league, with knowing that now for the 18 months that we've been here. I think the frustration for me is that we saw Everton lose at Newcastle, and not just lose at Newcastle. It wasn't just the result. They got outplayed by Newcastle, really. And I just feel the opportunity was there for us going into the game, being at the ground today at Everton, having a family of Everton fans doesn't help matters either. I'm not going to be able to answer my phone now for probably like a week. I'm going to get that much stick. It's just, it's frustrating to say the least. But in terms of the Newcastle game, to see them lose that so badly and get outplayed, you just felt if we started well today, the crowd would have got on the Everton players' backs, the home crowd. I think obviously people who may be less aware of the Everton home crowd, it's not a happy place at this moment in time. That Everton crowd can turn quickly on the team when things don't start well. Everton fans tell me that. I've seen it with my own eyes. Whenever I've watched Leeds at Goodison Park, or whenever I've watched games on Sky when Everton have been playing at Goodison Park, you can hear that crowd turn. I think when they've had such a poor result, they've been on such a poor run, it would just start the game better. I just think, the first 10, 15, and it seems such a simple thing to say, but we just didn't start the game well enough, and that's where it goes the other way. Everton fans can make a bit of an atmosphere when they start the game well, and when we gave them that little bit of encouragement in terms of the pressing early doors, when we are playing it around the back, like we did against Villa, like we have done in every single game with Marcelo Bielsa, made a couple of mistakes, and it just gave them that encouragement that they could press us. And as soon as you give home fans that, they can then get on top of you in that kind of sense in terms of the atmosphere. And it is quite a feisty atmosphere at Goodison Park. It's one of the better atmospheres outside of Ellen Road in terms of in this league for me. Just looking at my notes, I made a lot of notes on the train back from the game. And look, I'm a positive person. Everyone knows I'm a positive person. I've been positive about Leeds this season because in reality, I don't think Leeds are as bad as what the results say. I don't think we're as bad as what the table says. We've had two of our most important players missing for a large chunk of the season. Probably the two most important players of the whole system in terms of Patrick Bamford pressing from the front, Calvin Phillips holding the midfield together and keeping the unit together, allowing us to attack with a five, four midfielders and one centre forward. That is what Calvin allows us to do. And I've already said, there is only 4 or 5 players at most in this league who could possibly do the role that Calvin Phillips does. That is the level of importance he has to this club. Patrick Bamford as well. But I'm not going to make that as an excuse today because we've lost the game so emphatically. If it was 1-0 or something, then yeah, I could make that excuse. But today, when you lose so badly and there was all the problems that we had today, I think everything was a problem for us today, to be totally honest. And it was just one of those days where we did make a lot of mistakes. Let's be totally honest. We did make a lot of mistakes today. And look, I am positive, but today I just can't be positive about that. I think our results and performances since the turn of the year have been very good, to be honest. I think obviously Newcastle game, last half an hour, we weren't quite at our usual levels, but I thought for the first hour of that game, we probably could have scored. We had the chances to score. And then the other games speak for themselves. I think we played really well in the other games. Even that West Ham Cup game, I thought we played well. And to be honest, a VAR decision did us in on that game. We've played well, I think. I think we've bounced back in general really well since the Arsenal game. But today just shows you that this is the nature of the Premier League. You can't get too carried away. You really can't get too carried away. And maybe I'm guilty of that because after that Villa game, I was looking at it and thinking, wow, I'm looking at what Southampton have done in terms of their turnaround and results. It can go the other way very quickly in the Premier League, and we're knowing that this season. We've dominated the ball today again, and Everton have had 3 times as many shots as us. I'll say that again because I've just mumbled that. We've dominated the ball today, and Everton have had 3 times as many shots as us. We've had none on target, and this is so unlike us. We look at how free-flowing and good we were going forward against Villa. We could have scored 6 at Villa Park, to be totally honest with you. We were superb going forward against Villa. I thought we were superb in general in that Villa game. In other games as well, West Ham away, we were so fluid and free-flowing. And you look at Villa, Gerrard's got them really organised. West Ham, we beat 3-2 away, got scored 3 goals at Villa Park, 3 goals at West Ham. 2 of the more organised teams in this league under David Moyes and Steven Gerrard, and Everton have conceded 38 goals. Really struggling defensively. They're missing the best defender in terms of Yerry Mina. They've got John Joe Kenny playing at left back. That's the frustration for me today. I just felt we really could have got the Everton today. I think personally, we in terms of the way we played this season, in terms of performances, I just felt we had a lot more in us today, and that's the frustration. I think everyone around Leeds felt that. We saw with Marcelo's press conference that there was frustration there, and it is frustrating when you lose 3-0. There's no doubt about it, but the consistency is key at this level. I think last season, first part of the season, maybe we weren't particularly consistent, but we did have some really good performances and maybe some games where we conceded a lot of goals. But second half of the season, we really built consistency towards the back end of the season. And that was what I'm hoping for the back end of this season. Because look, you're going to have ups and downs in the season, but today is just one where it's a bad one today. There's no doubt about it. That's a really, really bad one today. There's been other games. We're going to lose games at this level. Every team's going to lose games at this level. Man City lose games at this level. It's a high-quality league. Anything can happen. Any team can beat anyone at this level. Let's make that absolutely clear. Any team can beat anyone at this level. But today was a bad one. It was a bit like the Southampton game in October. I don't think we had any shots on target in that game. It just wasn't. There's no positives to take from that at all today. It's a very, very bad one, that today. And in terms of the reaction on Twitter, it's probably the worst reaction I think I've seen to a game. In terms of on YouTube, other bits and pieces of the watch of the game, it's probably been the most critical reaction from Leeds fans, and that's natural when obviously we lose 3-0 to a team that's actually still below us in the table, and we just dropped well below our usual standards. We have set high standards under Marcelo Bielsa, but today was one of the very, 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 very rare occasions that we dropped well below the standards. Yes, we've lost some games badly this season. But today the standards dropped badly in terms of from the first minute we didn't look right today in terms of individual performances, collective performances. We didn't get it right today, and I've seen a lot of talk on Twitter and YouTube in terms of 𝐘𝐿𝐔𝐅𝐂's, the other friends, on other channels and that lot, in terms of 𝐘𝐿𝐔𝐅𝐂's not coming on. For me, that's a secondary conversation for me. I think the key thing for me today is that we didn't get the ball into our forward players. I think it's almost irrelevant to an extent. If 𝐘𝐿𝐔𝅅𝐂 was on the pitch, or Tyler Roberts, whoever was on that pitch in that final third, we didn't really get the ball into that final third enough for it to make any difference who was up there. Because the frustration is that when Rodrigo got on the ball, he smashed the bar twice from 30 yards inside the first 30 minutes. Rafinha's had a superb run where he's beaten Jonjoe Kenny, he's beaten Michael Keane, I think, and he's laid on a really, really decent pass into Dan James. I think Rodrigo's laid on a decent pass into Dan James as well. And we've had opportunities and some good last-ditch Everton defending, but I did think Everton were vulnerable when we did get the ball into that final third. And that's more the frustration for me today, that, it's kind of the basics, in terms of obviously keeping the ball when we can and knowing when to force the ball forward and keep the ball, etc., etc. And it's what we're normally so good at. We're so good at these things, and that's where it's an off day today. There's no doubt about it. It's an off day today, and for me, that was the bigger problem than who came on to go to centre forward or who came on to go to the right wing, etc., etc. I just think that's a secondary conversation in terms of today, and it didn't really matter who did that today because we didn't get the ball into the final third enough for me today. Some people might disagree with me in the comments. That's fair enough, but that's just my personal take on that for today's game specifically. And look, Everton conceded almost 2 goals a game, so that's the disappointment where we didn't get that ball into the final third and test Everton enough for me. That's the real frustration. At this moment in time, we just need to stick together. Trying to be positive now, because I am still positive. I still look at the league table and say we're in a good position in terms of avoiding relegation. We've got that points difference. We have got players to come back, but today's a warning sign. Today's that warning sign where if you're not 100% at it, any team can beat you at this level. It doesn't matter if they've won 1 of the last 15 or 2 of the last 25, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. The league is that high quality. Every team's got good players at this level. Every single team at this level has got good players. You can talk about Burnley. You've got the likes of Maxwell Cornet playing for Burnley, Dwight McNeil, players that can make a difference. It doesn't matter who you play. They have got individuals who can make that difference. And Everton are no different. Everton more than anyone, to be totally honest with you. Richarlison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, very, very good players. What a strike force that is, by the way. And we just didn't win any duels against them. And that's very, very unlike us, in terms of defensively. We were very deep at times. I think the first and third goals, I think, came from us being quite deep. And we just couldn't quite get up the pitch and press like we normally would do. And you've got to give some credit to Everton for that. Everton set up very well. I thought their midfield two of Doucouré and Van de Beek had very, very good games. Allan and Van de Beek had very, very good games, especially Allan. I thought was probably the best player on the pitch, to be totally honest with you. Because look, these type of games are never going to be particularly nice to watch because both teams need the results. Both teams need results. They're in comfortable positions at this moment in time, but you don't know what the situation will be in a month's time. It's a very unpredictable league. Strange things can happen. Norwich have put on a decent, I know albeit today they've got hammered by City, but they had actually put on a decent run before that. Unpredictable things can happen, at this level. It was never going to be particularly nice to watch today. It was all about the results, and I think Allan was the player on the pitch who really controlled it in that kind of sense, and it was frustrating in that sense because Allan's a good player. Let's not deny that. Allan is a very good player. He has got that ability to do that, and I think Everton's top players did really step up today. Who, when Allan, Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin play well, this can happen. Look. Everton, when you look at them on paper, have actually got some very, very good players at that football club, and they're massively underperforming in terms of the quality they have on that pitch. So let's not forget that as well. We've got to stick together and remember that we have bounced back very well from defeats this season, last season especially, under Marcelo Bielsa in general. We have bounced back very, very well from defeats. I have no doubt we can do that again. Look, we've got. I don't need to tell you how big that game is on Sunday coming up. We've got 8 days to prepare for that. They've not been particularly consistent in the last couple of games either. They can be got at. Yes, they have got some quality at that top end of the pitch. Across the pitch, they have got some quality, but they can be got at. But the warning sign today has been shown, and let's work on that. I've no doubt Marcelo Bielsa is one of the best managers in the world. Let's not forget this. He's one of the best managers in the world. He's had his two most important players missing all season, and he's still got us well clear of a very high-quality Premier League this season, I will say, well clear of the relegation zone at this moment in time. So let's not forget that. Let's not lose sight of that fact as well. But today is so frustrating. Today it's been a bad day all round for everyone, and we just need to bounce back from it now. I'm kind of glad we're not playing midweek now, and we've got that time now to just really assess things and bounce back. You know, even against Villa, I thought we were superb in that Villa game, but we had that 10-minute spell where we conceded 3 goals. It can happen at this league. If you switch off for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute at this level, you will be punished. It's high quality stuff. I keep saying high quality, but it is. And we've just found that out today. But yeah, I'm frustrated today, guys. You can tell that. Family of Evertonians, and me and my dad are going to get a lot of stick for the next week or so, because Everton fans, yeah, they let you know. They let you know when things are going well for them. So yeah, it's one of those, guys. I'm going to leave it there anyway. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already, and I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thanks very much for watching. See you later.